This was my first ever smartphone. It's the iPhone 3G. It was released in 2008, which means that this is what an 11-year-old smartphone looks like, and by today's standards, it looks totally ancient. What the phones did have was 128 megabytes of RAM. 128. That's not enough to even turn on an iPhone today. But if for some rather bizarre reason that every other phone on the planet disappeared, could you use the iPhone 3G today as your daily driver? Hello guys, welcome to PTech, and the quick answer to that question is, well, kind of. The phone holds up surprisingly well for something that is now 11 years old, and even though this looks like it is iOS 7, and please don't think it is, it's actually only iOS 3.1.1 but running an iOS 7 skin. Let's just have a look at some of the basics of the phone and see if it still runs. And the first basic of any phone is, can it still make phone calls? The answer to that is yes, but only just. Before I jailbroke the phone and put in a SIM card, it was getting no carrier information or signal at all. But now it has, it works really well. And what's worrying for today's phones is that the quality of the calls on this 3G sound almost exactly the same to any other phone that's out now. For some reason, it's something that phone manufacturers have never sorted out. The quality of calls is always rubbish. You can text as well on the phone still, but don't be expecting iMessage on a phone that is as old as a child. Let's have a look at the camera. Now, the camera on the 3G is at best pretty poor. It's only a 2 megapixel camera, so it's easier to take photos on a spoon, but actually, it works okay. If you needed to take a photo, yes, it would work. Would it look very good? Well, here are some of the photos that I took. They're not the worst thing you've ever seen, but also they're not great, are they? The design of the 3G is really something of 2008. It's totally made out of plastic, and the bezels are so big on this phone you could land a plane on them, but there's something about this classic look which I really like, even though it is totally made out of plastic and it's quite cheap to hold now. There's something about that oval back of the phone that I really like. But the problem with the whole phone and the back of it being made out of plastic is that it used to crack really easy. This one's got the classic charger port crack at the bottom, which almost every 3G had at the time. Just before we have a look at any more of the iPhone 3G, if you want to subscribe to this channel, then please feel free to do so. It will really help me out, and you can follow me both on Instagram and Twitter, where I post a load of stuff over there. But talking of social media, that is the one thing that this phone really struggles to cope with. If you want to go and check your emails on the phone, then you can just do it. Or if you want to go and do a simple Google search, that is fine, it still works. But Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of that stuff doesn't exist on this phone because you can't download the apps anymore because the App Store doesn't let you on. You can, though, check Facebook through the mobile website, so you can still do a little bit of social media, but not much at all, really. Normal tasks on this phone are pretty smooth, though. Notes, taking voice memos, alarms, calls, texts, looking at the calendar. You can still use maps, which works surprisingly well. Anything beyond that, then the 11 years really starts to show. What it can still do, though, is play music. Not a lot of it, obviously, because it's only got 8 gigs of storage, but the sound quality on these phones are surprisingly good. They're not stereo, of course, but as long as you don't have the volume at max, it sounds good, because at max volume, it starts to sound like you're listening through a crisp packet. And if you want to listen to any music on this phone, you can't stream it through Spotify or Apple Music. There's no chance of that happening. Talking of the music, though, AirPods, they work with this phone, which I was really surprised at. I just thought I'd give it a go, and I didn't think they'd connect, but they do work. They just don't work as AirPods should, so if you take them out of your ear, it's not going to stop playing the music, but it's alright, it's not bad. There's something really nice about being able to use your AirPods with a phone that was released in 2008. But, back to the question, can you use this phone in 2019 as your daily driver? The answer is yes. Should you? Absolutely not. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said earlier on, if you liked this video, then please do feel free to subscribe, and you've got all my Instagram and Twitter links in the description as well, so if you want to follow me there, feel free to do so.